in my home. Should I be concerned?
I wouldn't say should. The tool is not the problem. Is the misuse of it, right? It's cheating if it undermines the learning objective. So if you're using AI that undermines the reason for the learning, then you call it cheating. So let me give an analogy. If you ask me the question, if using a calculator is cheating, my obvious answer it will be no. If you are learning calculus, so if you're learning calculus and you use a calculator, that is perfectly okay. Now, but if it's cheating, if you use it to pass a basic arithmetic, so I come to Bernard, what is 4 plus 2? Then you intend to use a calculator, then it defeats the purpose of using a calculator to answer such a basic arithmetic test without understanding the process of doing addition. Now, the intent is what matters in all of this, okay? So we've been working with the secondary schools largely recently. The question we need to be asking them is, did you use AI? No, that shouldn't be the kind of question you should be asking, but rather, did you learn the concept? So whether you use AI or not, the intent of whether you are learning should, or whether you've learned a concept should be the argument that we should be having or the discussion we should be having. We need an AI transparent, as assignments must be documented, and assignments must reflect how the AI output help them think. Okay, then this turns the art of using AI into a part of the learning process in itself. If we take like the example given by Richard, that if you were to give the question and then provided an answer for them, and you ask them to evaluate that answer, then you realize that the AI at the time is not being used to advance the learning, and it's being used to advance the process of acquiring new knowledge and then skills by having the AI aid what you are doing. So it's the intent and then the use of it that will determine whether the person is cheating or is not cheating. So if, like the instance I gave, if we were to use a calculator to do 4 plus 2, that would be cheating because you understand the process. But if you're using it to do engineering maths or you're using the calculator to do calculus, firstly, it's aiding you in the process of solving calculus problems. So that wouldn't be considered cheating. So yeah, at home, should it be concerned? I would say, what are they using it for? If the intent is to aid learning, then obviously they're on the right path.
Fair enough. This is EdTech Monday, brought to you by the MasterCard Foundation in collaboration with the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology here on Channel 1 Television and 97.3 CDFM. If you're listening on radio, feel free to send us your own thoughts about your children and AI. How do they use it? Are you concerned? And what tips do you have as to a responsible, ethical use of AI? When we come back, there are a few more questions. Our education seems to be very examination focused. So if people are preparing for exam, is that not where the problem is? And also, there are things AI can do and there are things humans can do. How do you differentiate the two so we can have co-intelligence? These and more when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is EdTech Monday coming to you on 97.3 CDFM and also on Channel 1 Television. EdTech Monday is a learning platform, brings together stakeholders in education, policymakers, entrepreneurs, students, teachers, and of course media to think and talk about the usage of education technologies. Today our focus is on AI. Is it enhancing our students? Is it replacing their thinking? Or are they collaborating in a very interesting way? I have a great panel. I have Richard Dodu, who is with Meta School AI. Thank you, Richard, for staying. I also have Kat Davison, who's from Edu Sports. Very interesting concept she brought to us. And of course, Miracle Gavo, who's not a stranger at all. Miracle is working with us, not for the first time. He is with the GSET. All right. You've said a lot about the way the teachers ask questions, and that will determine what the student is looking for. And I like your example when you said, instead of asking me what is matter, you tell me how do you arrive here? No problem. There's a challenge though of Ghanaian schools being very examination focused. So if we're going to change how learners learn, don't you think we need to change what examinations want to get? Because the final exam is what most students are focused on, right? And it seems to me examination fixation limits the way teachers teach because they want the student to pass. They're not necessarily teaching for the student to understand. So, of course, understanding can help you pass. But it seems to me as though the skill you require to pass an exam in Ghana is not necessarily critical thinking. It may be memorization and stuff like this, right? So who wants to go first? Shouldn't the way exams are designed change if learning is to be more useful? Who's going to go first? Miracle, they say you are the oldest, so go first.
Thank you. I think so for me that brings me to the issue of what we need to put a question mark on. The warning signs regarding that is obviously those that brings about the decline in foundational skills and intellectual resilience. Okay. For me, the starting point would be what we call the blank page syndrome, which is when the students cannot start a task without AI. In that regard, meaning when our students cannot on their own think intuitively and then creatively to begin to answer exams. The way we set our exam, there are two schools of thought. Some people are looking at processes that focus on skills development. Others are also looking at cognitive development. Mm-hmm. Now, the school system determines whether we are looking at cognitive performances, so we should measure cognitive performances. And then others also look like whether we are a skills-based economy, for which reason we should be assessing skills that we need for development. So these are different arguments that are made by proponents of whether we should be assessing cognitive intelligence or we should be assessing skills. The exams body or the education system caters for both. Mm-hmm. Now, we need to measure how much knowledge that we have. And here knowledge could mean that things we know and can do or things that is in our head as knowledge. So if you're looking to see how much of retention, how much do our people know that they can rely on to complete a task, then obviously you are looking at knowledge that exists in our head. Mm-hmm. And can we measure the remembrance length of how long can people retain knowledge and then use that knowledge productively? So obviously we will go with our grammar style education, which would require the cognitive assessment. Then if you're looking at education that will bring in skills to the industry, that will bring in skills to our development agenda, then we would have to look at the way we examine this. And our school system caters for both. Either you go into TVET and then you assess skills for development, or you come into a grammar school where you are looking at people who would, for the most part, remember, recollect, and then apply knowledge they have about things they've gone through, experiences they've had. So these two, we could merge them. And if you look at those of us who do the technical, the science program, there's a practical component of the science program that we go through as part of the examination. Now, that will take you through the cognitive as well as the skills, a stretch that we are measuring both your cognitive, how much have you retained from the learning, and then how much you can do with the knowledge you've acquired through the process. So we can argue for both, but at the end of the day, it is underlining the points where we are saying what sort of education do we need to develop as a country.
Anyway, any thoughts on that question?
So I think it's really interesting how AI, I think it's not going to remove the need for us to have knowledge of different forms, because we need to be able to check the AI due to some of the mistakes that come up, and also have the critical thinking skills crucially to be able to analyze the AI and make it adaptable to a specific context. So I think there's going to be needs a certain level of knowledge acquisition that we have to be able to do the critical analysis alongside the critical thinking skills. And I think rather than just commenting on Ghana's assessment system, just taking it more globally, I also think considering the huge shifts that AI is going to cause, I think there should be more assessment that's around teamwork and group work. Because what AI does that's quite interesting is actually enable people to use skills from that are created by different people, different organizations in different ways to apply it to a project. So I would personally love to see much more project-based learning, much more teamwork, that also has the level of empathy that's built, in that process that you have when you're working with a team. But I'm not sure that that's particularly easy to assess, or if we'd want to come up with very restricted assessment metrics for that, as that may come to the same kind of hoop jumping things where students act in a certain empathetic way to get the exam scores. So it's not an easy question to solve, but certainly I think there needs to be a huge sort of global shift in how assessment is conducted.
I was at a speech of a school, and I saw that kids as young as 7, 8 years were all being ranked on the basis of academic excellence. I didn't see enough awards around teamwork, empathy, helping, and the things you're talking about are the skills we need for the future. But I think the schools are so fixated with he was first, he was second, he was third. Why was he first? Because he got 100%. But maybe he sits alone, doesn't talk to anybody, he's very intelligent, or his cognitive skills are great. Socially, he's probably very poor. He can't work with anybody, and yet we feel like these are the people we want for our future. So it's even the learning institution needs to change the way it rewards, right?
Yeah,
the things you said to me, they seem to be very important skills, but I don't think schools reward this.
I guess there are some schools that reward kind of helpfulness and kindness and similar, but you're right, it's completely separated from the assessment
just
system
good behavior and good progress.
and from the kind
Everything
of things
else, you don't care.
Yeah.
First to 10, everybody and good behavior, and by the way, I was in this primary school in the 80s, and that was the same thing. First 10, good behavior, good progress. We still don't have best team player, empathy, leadership skills. All those things are nice, but they will not help you get your 7 A's. Therefore, nobody cares. I mean, I don't know what you think, Richard.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of the panelists. Very good points made. When it comes to examination, I have very different points. I see it from a very different angle. Right now, with the advent of AI, students in primary school, let's say senior high school, can do a very good work that you can compare to a doctorate degree work in terms of a project, if they know how to use an AI tool very well.
All right.
When it comes to the defense of that work, that becomes a problem.
Of course.
Because, okay, you've generated the work, but you can't actually defend the work. The way I'm seeing the examination going forward is that we should leave the students, if the students is in classes and they believe that they can sit for the WASSCE examination, the students should be able to do it. And there's no need for them to wait for a whole year. So when WASSCE is ready before they go and sit for the exam, they should be able to walk into a prometric center and judge. Take that examination. That's how I'm seeing, because right now with AI, we no longer have to ask, what is this? We are there to test your ability to think. AI is challenging students to think.
Is education only about being able to answer those questions, or having the soft skills, the empathy, the leadership? Because the danger with your suggestion is you can have very bright people with very bright intellect, socially useless. You know, like Sheldon Cooper. If you watch the I forget the name of the sitcom. He's exceptionally intelligent, but he has the emotional intelligence of an ant, like essentially none, zero, right? I feel like that's the kind of challenge your proposal will create. I don't know if you agree.
I think to some extent, if you look at it just from the examination point, as examinations are being conducted right now.
Yes, it's called the Big Bang Theory, forgive me. The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
It's a sitcom.
All right, sure. So that problem will still exist. If we want to resolve that problem, then that means we have to now involve more teachers in the loop. So your final examination, before you sit for the final exam, you know that you would have taken this score from your instructor, because this can only be examined by your instructor. So we can still take those scores. Yeah.
Let's go forward. What human skills would become more important in an AI era? Or flipping the question, what skills do we no longer need because AI is here? Miracle, let me start with you. What skills would be more useful now that AI is around, and what skills would be less useful? So we just let machines do those.
Yes. There are, of course, skills that the AI tool can contribute to, and then there are those I mean, you've already in your contribution mentioned things around empathy, things about teamwork and stuff like that. I mean, AI is not going to give you empathy. It's not going to give you, collaborative skills. So those things will still. If you look at AI, what it can contribute is generation of ideas that it can do, and then help refine ideas. But the things it cannot do is about how I relate to you as a person, and then how you and I come together to get a job done. Those are things that will have to come from human ingenuity, about empathy, about tolerance, about collaborating, about communication. These are things that as humans we would need to stay with us, like in every stage of our life. And is there more reason why, if you look at the idea for why we are looking at foundational learning, which is numeracy, literacy, and then social emotional skills. Those are the things that, if you look at critically, are not going to be replaced by AI. These are things children, learners, adults would need to come up with, be the ones that leading the charge on those things. Now, if you look at AI as an enabler, then obviously you are looking at where can it contribute to advance the human spirit or the human knowledge, and for that matter, also closing the gap between the have and the have not. I'm pretty sure it can do very well. But the human, like empathy, kindness, are things that we would have to retain, and those cannot be replaced by AI.
I see. Anything to add, Richard? What skills do you think will be more useful going forward now that we are in an AI era?
Yeah, so I really agree with what empathy Miracle said and what Kathy said earlier on. We need the empathy. We need our ability to create new content. So new content is, AI can only generate content it's seen. It cannot generate content outside of what it's been trained on. And that's what keeps us human. So we still need to keep that, and that's what we need to train our students on. So no longer chew and pour, because you know that the AI can do very well over there. It's about creating new things.
Do you think parents need to start learning how to use AI in the kind of education system we have?
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important as a parent to know at least some bits of AI. And if best you can do, take a class in AI just to understand. And when you see your child using AI, don't be worried about it. Let the students use the AI. However, the most important thing is review the prompt they used. Okay, ask the students or ask your child, why did you prompt this? What's made you? And in that instance, what you are doing, you are reverse engineering. You are making the students or your child to explain to you that, okay, this is the reason why I prompted it this way. Maybe they could have prompted it first way, they didn't get the right answer. Why did you change the prompts to this way? Oh, it gave me this response. And what you realize is that from that interaction alone, you are reinforcing learning.
Interesting. Anything to add to this, Kat? Because I have a substantive question for you around how communities with limited resources can help parents to engender things like curiosity and creativity within their kids, even without access to high-level technology.
Yeah, I was going to just following up from what you're saying. It's so important that parents have that relationship with a child where they are asking those questions, being part of that process. But it's important, as I think everyone knows, that in some areas of Ghana, the parents may not be able to understand the AI, or they may not be able to read and write in English. And so I think a lot of it is around giving parents simple tools to be able to, have that sense of judgment of how much time they're spending on their phone, maybe noticing behavioral changes, maybe, as you said, having those conversations, even if you're just asking, well, what is it you're looking up, how are you doing it, what are you intending to do, what are the outcomes, being part of that process, even if they're not able to fully engage with AI. But there are so many, to your second question, there are so many ways is it without AI that the creativity and curiosity can build that. I think parents in Ghanaian communities already have so many locally rooted ways of promoting this, and I think perhaps just one thing we do in EduSpots is setting challenges, so project-based learning that I remember myself as a young child. My amazing teacher, Mr. Snell, used to set me every weekend a project-based learning activity that was very open-ended and encouraged us to explore it through whatever mediums we wanted to do, whether it was community interviews or looking at local resources or looking at the local environment and then drawing it back in and sharing it with the class. So we, in EduSpots, we really strongly believe in creating those really open-ended opportunities. And we also have a kind of framework, I guess, coming back to the assessment to assess some of the skills that come through from that, looking at student leadership, curiosity, looking at things like inclusion, those kind of softer skills, teamwork that we were talking about before.
Let's talk about red flags and when parents should be worried, because don't forget, this program, the concept is for shared learning, teachers, students, parents. Miracle, at what point should a parent get concerned, or is there a red line that kids should not cross in observing their behavior in AI in particular? What's your advice to parents on what they should look out for and when they should start getting concerned if they see what?
The kind of red flags that exist with the use of AI is the irresponsible use of AI, where it erodes the thinking capability of the children. If you look at things around writing, it's you pouring your thoughts on paper. If the students begin to rely excessively on the use of AI, what it means is that they've offloaded their brain to the AI, and where they themselves stop thinking. And once every task by the child is to use AI to generate responses or create solutions, then you should be worried as a parent, and you should avoid the over-reliance on using AI for everything before they begin to use the AI to provide responses or to create solutions. You want them to go through the process of thinking. What are their thought processes that they've taken before engaging the AI to supplement their thought processes to come up with solutions. Your children should not be overly reliant on the use of AI for every question you ask them, for everything that they need to respond to, or every task or solution that they need to work on.
But the problem is that we all don't know how it will affect their behavior because it's a new thing. I don't think there's enough. As we speak, there's a case involving a social media company where a 20-year-old is suing because she believes that her behavior, she's become addicted to social media, right? Now, and AI is even at the top end of, so I'm not even sure if we know, which is why I go back to the question of what's the best age to even start this? Because you have a 14-year-old or 12-year-old guy who knows that he can decide not to study and he would have a way of answering his questions. Shouldn't we have more stricter rules around even the age of usage, right? Because by the time you see the red flag, it may be too late. Because the thing is, there's digital media, social media, and AI is all with the same tools. All right. So I need a bit more comfort around whether we are all saying students can use AI so long as the parent is watching, or whether we should say, look, until you are 16, you're not even going close to AI. Should we be that radical?
No, I don't think we should be that. How I see it is that our teachers need to be retrained, because at the end of the day, it falls back to them. The sort of questions they ask can determine whether the students can actually use an AI solution to answer the question or not. I can be very practical, make an experiment in the class, and my assignment is based on the experiments I did in the class. Based on the experiments in the class today, how did you understand it?
All right.
It's such an open-ended question. The AI does not know the experiment that happened in the class, so the students have to now go there and describe the experiments to the AI. By the time you're done, you've finished learning. So we need to do this retraining. Once that's the backbone of everything. Once we're able to resolve that, we will solve the problem.
I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. So yesterday, somebody sent me a link to a story in the New York Post. It says Gen Z, the first generation officially dubbed dumber than the last. And I'm just going to read, and this story is dated February 7, so it's like some time back. Gen Z, the generation born between 97 and 2010 is the very first generation who did worse in school than the generation before them, who will be my generation, millennials. According to a top neuroscientist, and shockingly they are proud of it, they are the very first generation in modern history to score lower on the standardized academic test than the one before. Dr. Jared Cooney, 43, told the Post. And to make matters worse, most of these young people are overconfident about how smart they are. The smarter people think they are, the dumber they actually are. They underperformed on basically every cognitive measure, from basic attention, memory, literacy, numeracy, executive function, and general IQ. And if you go into the story, that's the generation that was trained by this. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
So I'm asking myself, are we sure we are on the right path with this? Because there's a way in which it can affect human intelligence. You know, Kat, you need to help me here. I'm worried.
Yes, I am also worried at times. I think the behavioral changes that are coming as a result of AI and wider social media, I'm sure there are already studies being done, but I don't think we know yet the scale of the behavioral change this could cause. And I remember myself, I used to have on my WhatsApp AI integrated ChatGPT on my WhatsApp, and it reflected that I was possibly, talking to WhatsApp for questions and answers that I'd had in the past that I would have gone to a friend. And I think coming to your point of I think you've touched on the sort of arrogance or the lack of awareness and these kind of things. I guess that's the difference when you interact with an AI as compared to a human, is that the human will give you all this kind of, more developed emotional cues of different kind, which the AI isn't able to do because I guess it's constricted to words. So I think there's probably an awful lot of studies that are ongoing. There are probably many already created on the impact of AI also on brain development with, I guess, where people are more used to getting immediate answers, the click culture. I noticed myself getting impatient. And when I was younger, when I was preparing to study philosophy, I had to walk all the way to a faraway library. I was very lucky to have a library I know and trawl through to find the related things. And now everything is at a click. And I wonder what that does to sort of wider resilience. And I think as we continue to use AI tools, is how can we ensure that there's enough challenge that students do develop all these different areas which may contribute to some of the things you've mentioned being highlighted.
So my takeaway is be conscious of the benefit, but beware of the risk. That's the takeaway I get from all three of you. Unfortunately, we have to end now, but it's been really enlightening talking to you. I've been speaking to Miracle Gavor, founder and technical consultant for the Ghana Society for Education Technology, GSET, on screen with us. Miracle, thank you. Kat Davison is the founder and CEO of EduSports. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
And Richard Dodo is the founder of Metaschool AI. It's on his t-shirt, Innovation in Learning. This program has been brought to you by the Mastercard Foundation in partnership with the Meltwater Education Now Institution for Technology, or Entrepreneurial Institution for Technology, MEST. My name is Bernard Avile. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next month with another exciting edition of EdTech Monday.
On Footprints this Friday, we sit down with Dr. Nina Kweno, the Ghanaian scientist and engineer widely recognized as the father of the internet in Africa. He takes us through his educational journey and shares how he helped expand and shape the growth of the internet across the continent.
A level, you had physics A, mathematics A,
Yes, please.
applied maths A,
Yes.
and then chemistry B.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, really, the person who helped a lot was more like Rollins than many people.
Rollins?
Yeah.
With policy direction.
Policy direction, meaning that he said, and Mr. Pepra was the minister then, and he said, this is value-added service.
Yeah.
So while we are going to change the regulation, you can still proceed.
What do you make of generative AI and the way it's invaded every space?
Oh, me, I think it's good and healthy.
It's good.
It's good. It's supposed to be disruptive. The internet was disruptive,
Yeah.
but people found their way, isn't it?
That's correct.
So this one too will be disruptive.
Yeah.
The things which can best be done by AI will be done by AI. There's another element coming after the AI, which has to do with being able to solve certain kinds of problems much, much quicker.
Wow.
Than we could solve them today.
So beyond AI, there's quantum.
There's quantum computing and communication.
Quantum computing is coming. So if you thought that AI was an explosion, wait till you hear about.
In fact, AI needs quantum.
Footprints airs on Fridays at 7 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Wow, this is 1998. I can't believe I'm turning 50. When I look back, all that I can remember is all I've been given. Life, friendships, family, and dedicated fans. And I still have a seat in a beautiful industry, enjoying the opportunity I've been given to serve Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. But check this out. Channel 1 TV says they want to celebrate me. They say I'm a good example. Is it true? For my 50th birthday, I'm going to build a pediatric emergency center at Menchia Hospital. That is why all these young and vibrant celebrities are coming out to Plus 233 on the 18th of April to come so that we throw this amazing white party together to raise money for that hospital. Kwame Eugene, Kidi, Kimpaluta, Amrado, Miss V, Sister Fia, a free year, Kwabna, Darlington, Abiana, Akwabwa, Abochi, Brothers, Raskuku, Adina, and another friend of mine, Andy Dusty on the 1 and 2s. He is not young. 9 p.m. till you are tired of listening to great music. I know that Channel 1 wishes that they could bring all of this excitement for free, but because we are trying to build a pediatric emergency center at Menchia, please be happy to pay 1,500 for VVIP and 1,000 cedis for VIP. See you there.
Habibi, my people, welcome to Dubai. My name is Sheikh Alkal bin Maktoum. Okay, so I am Caleb, right? Caleb Kuda is my name, and this is Beyond Borders on Channel 1 Television. We are in Dubai. So join me. Let us explore the allure, the beauty, and the reality of life and living it in Dubai through the eyes and the experiences of our compatriots.
Imagine 6 people, 10 people sharing a common room together.
If you're not to chinampe, no, we'll complain there in the sense, why do I share one rooms now? It doesn't smell pleasant. We're haunting no complaints now, baby, into the fair and
Dubai is one of the most organized, highly resourced, and well-endowed countries you would find.
You've been here for 7 months.
Yes.
Without a job.
Yeah.
How is it like?
So hard.
Tell me about it.
Struggling, renting and feeding is so hard.
Every frame per second of their lives in Dubai tells a story, and we've got it all captured right here on Beyond Borders, only on Channel 1 Television. So don't get told, don't miss out. Catch these compelling stories of Ghanaians in Dubai only on Beyond Borders on Channel 1 TV.
Beyond Borders airs every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV and is brought to you by Copen Hospitality.
Let's get into the world of sports like never before.
You know how we do it on Fridays.
Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 City FM for Sports Panorama, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
One of the biggest scandals in this country's history. You can't spend 250 million USD and come out with that.
From the thrill of association football to the excitement of basketball, tennis, athletics, and even emerging sports, we cover it all. Whether it's the Premier League or the latest NBA showdown, we bring you the stories behind the stars.
Getting an opportunity to become a national team coach, you should understand the politics around football.
And don't miss the prayer of the rabbi.
Joe Zabal. How Zabal there? Zabal won Chaboke Walako.
We're not just about the games, we're about the community.
If you are going to be given this kind of treatment, then you need to be that guy. When I look at him play, he is not it.
Or when it's time for Don't Call Me.
Moria picky.
Join the conversation as we connect with fans across the country and beyond. What's the latest updates? Send us your thoughts and we'll feature your comments live on air. And remember, we like to hear your predictions for matches and your thoughts in general. Think you know who's going to win? Let us know.
Big shout outs to my YouTube people.
Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. only on 97.3 City FM. Sports Panorama, where sports come alive.
Amen.
Sports Panorama, your weekly sports fix. Don't miss out on the action. Sports Panorama, catch the excitement every Friday.
Abstain. Why abstain?
I have been seeing through your shenanigans all night. I thought I told you that I didn't want to see that girl in this house again.
A mixed bag of emotions and incidents, Ghanaian family and intergenerational drama. Some not so good.
That boy, that womanizer.
You are old enough. I would like you to man up.
In other cases, not so bad.
So does he see in her that he's not seeing in me?
Look at me.
Eugene and Anekia made a choice. You won't believe what Pam and Anekia have done to me.
Watch out for So So, a brand new series from GH Media Productions. So So, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Hello, this is Newsfeed here on Channel 1 TV with me, Charles Osukumiyo. Welcome to the program. Coming up, Tender Committee recommends Engineers and Planners Limited for takeover of Daman Mines. Also in the bulletin, Minority criticizes President Mahama over his stance on the LGBTQ+ rights issues, and in business, government engages stakeholders on fuel tax review. And later in sports, National Sports Authority boss Yao Ampofo-Ankra backs the inclusion of Andre Ayew into the Black Star squad ahead of the World Cup. Let's now settle for the details of our stories. Now, a tender committee has recommended Engineers and Planners Limited as the strategic investor to take over the operations of the Daman Gold Mine. The recommendation follows a competitive evaluation process by the Minerals Commission aimed at reviving operations at the facility. Out of 4 companies that responded to the public tender, 2 were shortlisted for a detailed assessment by the tender committee. Engineers and Planners Limited emerged as the highest evaluated bidder, satisfying their requirements under the Minerals and Mining Licensing Regulations. The committee is now pushing for the formal award of the mining lease to the company to facilitate a smooth takeover.
So the guideline on technical capacity is quite clear. I said the minimum technical score shall be 80%. It must be noted that tenders that not meet the minimum score should be deemed unresponsive and shall be disqualified. So before we went to the game, the rules of the game were known, whoever was interested. Now, if you, again, going back there, then we had the points, maximum 100 points, and we had allocated marks to each. And that one, whenever the experiment, we have applicant information, 10 marks. The most important aspect, which is really hot, is at the heart of this, is experience, capacity, and all that, which is technical and general experience, specific experience in similar project environments. And it is a open 40 months. That's really where the crisis is. So, and then we talk about methodology and work plan, qualifications and all that. We took pains to go through every documentation submitted by all of these companies that went to this stage.
Well, let's now head to Parliament. The minority group has accused President John Dramani Mahama of hypocrisy over his position on the proposed anti-LGBTQ+ bill. The criticism follows recent comments by the president indicating that the passage of the bill is not a priority for his administration. According to the minority, the president expressed support for the bill while in opposition, but appears to have shifted his stance since assuming office. At a press conference, the Asin South Member of Parliament, Reverend John Ntim Fodjo, a proponent of the bill, accused the president of applying double standards in his handling of the legislation.
What has changed? Have our basic needs changed between 2024 and now? To advocate so aggressively for a policy in opposition, only to dismiss it as a low priority once in government, is the height of hypocrisy and deception. Furthermore, President Mahama has been playing a dangerous double game. As the African Human Rights Coalition aptly noted on March 28, 2026, and I quote, President John Dramani Mahama has presented two faces to the world, one tailored for Ghanaian voters at home, and another carefully curated for American audiences abroad. While promising Ghanaians at home that he supports the bill in principle, he travels abroad and sings a completely different tune.
Now, the minority group is also demanding, among other things, an apology from the president to the religious community, as well as a clear commitment to ensuring the passage of the LGBTQ+ bill.
Second, an apology to the clergy, to the imams, Muslim clerics, and traditional leaders. The NDC and President John Dramani Mahama must apologize to the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, GPCC, and all other ecumenical bodies, the office of the chief imam, and our imams, our Muslim clerics, traditional rulers, and concerned CSOs for the double standards and contradictory priorities demonstrated between the period in opposition and now in power. Additionally, we call on the clergy, our Muslim clerics, communical bodies, traditional rulers, the civil society organizations to call out the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama on their U-turn on LGBT issues to maintain their spirited advocacy for the passage of the pending bill.
Now, away from Parliament, management of VIP Giant Transport says its proposed fare increase will take effect from tomorrow, April 8, despite President Mahama's emergency cabinet meeting to address rising fuel prices. The company says the adjustments will affect both its standard and executive coach services on major routes from Accra to other parts of the country. Speaking after a meeting with the Transport Ministry, General Manager Adakabre Frimpong Manso justified the planned increase.
We have said that 07 hours Wednesday 18th, there's a new transport fare. So come there, see what you pay. These fares were supposed to kick in March 2025. And then at the instance of the transport minister, we stood it down. We suspended those prices. So it has been there for 1 year. And we should not forget that the trajectory of the price increase of VIP, the fares were last increased in April 2024. For 2 years, What is in Ghana that is 10 cities 2 years ago, that it remains 10 cities 2 years later? In real terms, is it still 10 cities? So let's see what happens.
Meanwhile, some passengers have expressed mixed reactions to the planned transport fare increase by VIP Giant Transport.
The right direction, because we all know petrol prices have gone out, other spare parts have gone out now. So if they make some lashes and additions, they think they have to do something, we are with them.
Whether being it small or big, they charge it to do. Price now more than 2 months is too bad to affect Ghanaians. If you say salary need a dinner, baby, I dinner salary and into civil servants, some bread, and with this increment, a higher power.
I came with my wife. A ticket to 300 Ghana cedi. The two of us, I'm paying 600 Ghana cedi. So if additional 60 Ghana cedi is added to the 300, you can imagine what is going to happen to me. So we have a lot of activities. So I think the government should come to our end to support that. At least they should talk to the committee so that I think even the percentage is high.
In a related development, the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council is urging various transport unions to halt any proposed hike in fares pending the outcome of President Mahama's emergency cabinet meeting. The meeting, which was announced by the president, seeks to formulate policies aimed at addressing the increase in fuel prices due to ongoing tensions in the Middle East. Here is the General Secretary of the Council, Ohini Yabua, addressing journalists after an engagement with the Transport Ministry.
We just came from the holidays, and just around the time we're going for the holiday, we saw a little rise in the fuel prices. Yes, as a practice, we always have to meet with the ministry and make a decision on the way forward. If you remember, the president also made a statement some 3 days ago that he's going to convene a cabinet ministry meeting for the to review the fuel pricing issues. So we came to meet him, and he's giving us that information. So we are going back and wait till the president comes from wherever he is.
Already some unions have decided to increase their transport fares effective tomorrow. How do you react to this?
Well, we think it's inappropriate. They will have to hold their fire for now, because we all know that there has been some windfall over the period. And once this week we are able to hold it for, a number of few days, we'll be able to deal with, whilst we are trying to deal with the ministry. Once we finish with them and, we come out with a good, whatever decision we arrive at, we'll be good to go. So we'll tell the unions to hold their fire for a while, and let's talk to the ministry.
Well, away from the transport sector, residents in parts of Accra are expected to experience intermittent power outages as the Electricity Company of Ghana begins a major transformer replacement and upgrade exercise from tomorrow, April 8. According to ECG, 12 transformers across 6 primary substations in Adenta, La, Teshinungwa, Majo, Batuna and Lesibi will be replaced and upgraded. In an interview with Channel One News, General Manager for External Relations at ECG, Dr. Charles Ni Ayikwa assured of the timely completion of the exercise.
A few weeks ago, the sector minister, Honorable Dr. Jinapo, gave approval for us to undertake the replacement and upgrade of power transformers. So, beginning tomorrow, the 8th of April 2026, we are going to start the upgrade. And this would impact on our customers. There are going to be some disruptions as this upgrade takes place. So we apologize for the inconvenience, but it's for the good of our customers, for the company, and for Ghana. We're looking at maximum 6 hours as we undertake the first phase. And by Friday, the 10th of April, we should complete the exercise. Some areas will be affected, but we hope that maximum 6 hours they should be back in supply, and this would also provide a more stable power, reliable power and also protect our systems.
You are still watching Newsfeed here on Channel 1 TV with me, Charles Owusu-Kumih. Still ahead, police in the northern region make steady progress in the fight against drug abuse. We have details in a bit. Please stay with us.
Full of questions, where truth often hides behind noise, one show dares to ask what truly matters face to face. With fearless clarity and a quest for accountability, host Umaru Amadu sits down with the movers and shakers of politics, governance, society, and business, confronting the issues that define our national conversation.
Yes, I am Umaru Amadu. This is Face to Face, and you're welcome.
I say very often on the floor of Parliament that when we were in government, we got some things right, we got some things wrong.
Are you still planning to go to Parliament, or you want to look at National Party office position?
No, I'll be going back to Parliament. There's an unfinished business which I need to do.
Sports has 3 legs: development, management, and promotion.
Disintegration is extreme. We do not wish that even on your worst enemy.
Every Tuesday at 9 p.m., join Umaru Amadu on Face to Face as he digs deeper, challenges power, and reveals the stories shaping Ghana's future. Only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome back. This is Newsfeed on Channel 1 TV. I am Charles Owusu-Kumih. Let's focus on some other stories. Now, police in the northern region say they are making steady progress in the fight against substance abuse and related crimes. For the month of March, the Northern Regional Police Command, through its newly constituted Red Maria team, arrested 217 suspects for offences including drug possession, peddling, prostitution, and other related crimes. At a press briefing, Northern Regional Police Commander provided a breakdown of the arrests and ongoing prosecutions.
Following the formation of the Red Maria team, which was aimed at sustaining, identifying, and fighting the illicit menace, drug menace, or drug abuse and other related criminal activities within the Northern region, particularly in Tamale metropolis. Now, operational activities or achievements. Over the past 1 month, the operations of the team have been highly impactful and encouraging. The team has undertaken several intelligence-led sweeps in identified hotspots for drug-related activities, which include Tazirank, Abu Forest, Nobisco Forest, Savlugu, Nantong, and Nyankpala areas.
Now, slum dwellers at Afo Nkwanta in the Ashanti region have begun rebuilding their structures after fire destroyed them on Monday, April 6. They say the assembly member has granted them permission to rebuild as they have nowhere else to go. One of the victims, Bawa Zakaria, tells Channel 1 News the assembly member has engaged them on measures to prevent future fire outbreaks.
The assembly member for Afo Nkwanta area came yesterday and visited us. So far, we haven't had any highly personality coming here. Only assemblyman, and we also had a chat with him. We talked to him about how to solve this frequent problem that has been happening all the time, and he said we should try our best to put on the measures in order not to involve in things like this next time. We also had a complaint that the wooden structures that we are putting on most of the times has been we are facing this fire outbreak all the time. So if possible, they should have allowed us to put on some maybe small rooms in the form of blocks.
Our President John Dramani Mahama has raised alarm over the impact of illegal mining on Ghana's environment and public health. Speaking at the One Health Summit in Lyon, the president said the effects of illegal gold mining are threatening biodiversity and undermining the livelihoods of millions, particularly in vulnerable communities. He stressed that the environmental damage is also fueling health risks as contaminated ecosystems contribute to the spread of diseases and disrupt food systems.
Country of Ghana, a blight of disease and pests affects smallholder cocoa farmers, threatening millions of households. Illegal gold mining leads to forest degradation and pollution of our water bodies, threatening the survival of precious populations of birds and insects critical to our biodiversity. At the foundation of all these crises is the phenomenon of climate change. And yes, we realize that everything is interconnected. From the outbreak of infectious diseases to antimicrobial resistance, and from climate-related disruptions to food systems, all these risks converge and intensify in frequency, complexity, and severity than at any time in human history. The One Health approach is thus a practical matter for us in Africa.
From Ghana's president to the president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, he has described the Accra compost and recycling plants as a strong example of how technology and local expertise can transform sanitation into opportunity. He made these remarks during a tour of the facility, which was preceded by the signing of an MOU between Zoomlion Ghana Limited and Dio Pomona Waste Management Limited of Zimbabwe. President Mnangagwa urged African countries to leverage knowledge, build local capacity, and adopt efficient systems that improve public health while generating employment for young people.
I was speaking about it just a few weeks ago. We had a function there. It's a place to go. So in Zimbabwe, our lovebirds go there. If the former place where it was a dumping place for dirt, it is where those who love each other go there. If your boyfriend doesn't take you there, then you know it is not 100% at the dump site. These things can be transformed and become a beauty. It's something that is done. This is the young man who has done it. And I think it's something that many institutions in our region, in Southern Africa and SADC, come to see. And I'm very, very grateful. I don't know where he got the technology or the knowledge, but it's fantastic.
This is still Newsfeed here on Channel One TV. Up next is Business with Netele Netiachao. Hello, Natalie. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Back from the holidays, huh?
Yeah, good
what
time.
Do you have?
Government says it's still open to reviewing some of the fuel taxes, the taxes on fuel because of the situation now. And
well,
there
are calls for the
one
CD levy.
A lot of people are calling for them to consider removing it as well.
So we wait and see what happens after the president's meeting with the...
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's get straight to our stories. And government says it remains open to reviewing taxes on petroleum products amid recent increases in palm prices driven by global market pressures, but cautions that any decision must safeguard long-term economic stability. Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jinapor, says ongoing engagements with key stakeholders, including the Finance Minister, are focused on assessing the full fiscal and market implications before any policy action is taken. He was speaking at this year's COMAC Safety Week.
In as much as we are committed to reviewing all the taxes, all the levies, and ensuring that the price stays stable, I always insist that we should not take short-term economic decisions that will hurt you, the ordinary Ghanaian, in the long term. That is not prudent economic management. Whatever support we can give you, let's do it as a government. Whatever cushion we can give Ghanaians in terms of petroleum pricing, let's do that. But let's be mindful that when we are taking these decisions, we do not end up hurting you in the future. And sometimes the cost that you incur from these political short-term decisions can be very, very significant. And so I leave you with the key three things that I talked about, that we want to ensure that the products are available. We want to ensure that we take steps to cushion you when it comes to prices. But finally, we want to ensure that even as we do that, we do not hurt the economy so that it comes back to bite you in the long term.
Now, CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Ejudi-Tamaklo, also revealed that Ghana currently holds almost 8 weeks of diesel imports and about 7 weeks of petrol imports, providing a buffer against potential supply disruptions.
Kenya, as we speak today, has only 16 days of import cover. 1/6 of import cover. Today in Ghana, for diesel, we have almost 8 weeks of import cover. 8 weeks. Can you imagine a situation where you have the money, but you can't have the product? Just think about it. Today in Ghana, for petrol, we have almost 6.8 weeks of cover. In fact, we just concluded our Lakan advisory meeting last week. And we have vessels scheduled up to the 19th of April, 10 vessels on the high seas. That is what we have been able to do to ensure supply reliability.
The Center for Policy Scrutiny is calling for the reintroduction of key abolished taxes to shore up domestic revenue and ease fiscal pressures. The center argues that these tax handles could generate as much as 18 billion Ghana cedis in 2027, providing a significant boost to government revenue at a time of tightening liquidity and rising expenditure demands. Speaking at a presentation organized by the center, tax analyst Isaac Dansu-Ejiri maintained that the scrap taxes should not be dismissed entirely, but rather restructured to reflect current economic realities.
Levy. We may not call it e-levy, but maybe we should call it a name that Ghanaians like, so that as a people we can raise the revenues that we need. It provides us very reliable sort of, revenue as a country that we can police. We can all agree on how we want to deal with that money, but let us not, cut our nose to spite, our face. 2, we should invest in some revenue forecasting capacity. And here, this is coming from the fact that if you looked at all the 3 taxes that we have looked at, massive forecasting failure in all those, right? With the exception of, again, the COVID levy, which was, benchmarked on VAT, so it was easy.
And that's all for business. I am Neteli Nete Ajaho.
Up next is sports with Bernard Abekwatri.
Hi, Charles.
Do we have a Black Stars coach yet?
No.
Why?
The executive committee of the federation, they are deliberating on 3 names they've identified, then to go before government for consideration. And if you
the list includes Kwesi Appiah.
We are not to mention names now, according to the FA.
Why? We can't speculate.
No. We just have to allow them work and then give us a name. If governments approve, if it gets to government, we can put names to it. But now that it's with the FA, you never know. So we have to be patient. But there's an interesting matter because the National Sports Authority's boss, Jan Pofuankra, believes the inclusion of Andre Morgan Dede Ayew could be key to stabilizing the Ghana national football team. This comes at a time when where the Black Stars remain without a head coach, just 65 days to the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Speaking to Channel One Sports, Jan Pofuankra emphasized that Dede Ayew's leadership and experience could help steady the team amid the current turbulence.
I personally would expect that if he's fit, his experience from not just the World Cup, currently playing, he is the most experienced Ghanaian footballer out there in terms of, institutional memory. Institutional in terms of the World Cup, he's won it at under 20 level. The next year he was in the final in Angola for the AFCON, has been to successive World Cups, AFCON finals, he's lost, he's come back, he's had personal troubles, and he must have learned his lesson as a younger captain. Now, as a more mature, older player, the pressure of not being captain perhaps would allow him to, enjoy his game. And for me, it would be great to see Dede Ayew off at his fourth World Cup. That would be a story in itself.
Well, let's talk about the Black Starlets and the assistant coach is Nana Kweku Agyeman. He has emphasized that the pathway from youth football in the country to the national team is not always straightforward. According to him, progression from the junior ranks to the Black Stars requires patience, consistency, and the right development, noting that growth at that level is rarely linear. While the Black Starlets are currently gearing up for the 2026 Under-17 African Cup of Nations in Morocco, scheduled to run from April 25 to March 15. Agyeman, in an exclusive interview with Channel One Sports, revealed that there is close collaboration across Ghana's national team structure.
So sometimes we say that, we didn't keep them together. We cannot keep them together. Some of them can go into U20. Others will have to go back into their clubs and play and be able to be seen again. You cannot take the whole team to the U20 because the U20 also have a team that they're also playing with. So once you're done with 17, you need to know that I'm going to a different level. Strength-wise, physically, tactically, technically, psychologically, you need to be there to play with the U20. It's like moving from the U20 to a U23 or the Black Stars. Psychologically, something needs to change. Something needs to go up for you to be able to meet that level. So we have already had several meetings with a U20 coach, and he loves the team that we have. He's already made out a few players that he thinks that can come into the U20, but he's also going to wait till after the African Cup to see who else will be. So it's up to the players to train hard, play hard, show that after U17 I can play the U20, but we don't expect that, the whole 25 or 28 players that we take to AFCON, all of them will be able to play in the U20. It doesn't happen. And
that's the very latest from the world of sports, and I am Bernard Abekoche.
And that'll be all for this edition of Newsfeed. I am Charles Osukumi. Thank you for watching.
Another brand new week is here. Hello there and welcome to Trending Africa with me, Samuel Akom. On all social media platforms, I am at the Samuel Akom. Trending Africa is a show where we take you through the African continent to bring you stories making the headlines. What stories are trending? Let's take a quick breather here. When we return, we'll check all of those stories out. Don't go anywhere. Please do stay.
Your story is our purpose. Your voice is our focus. From the streets to the corridors of power, we tell Ghana's story with honesty and courage. Channel One TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Welcome back from a quick break. This is still Trending Africa with me, Samuel Akom. On all social media platforms, I am at the Samuel Akom. Let's begin the episode from Nigeria. And in a rapidly changing world influenced by modern happenings, there is a need to preserve cultural values, identities, and cultural significance. And so that was the focus of conversation during a lecture at a university in Yamadi. And so Trust TV News' Abdullahi Yamadi has more in this report.
The event brought together scholars, students, and cultural enthusiasts in a gathering that went beyond academics, serving as a platform for reflection and cultural revival. At the center of the lecture was Bashir Aliyu Salo, who emphasized the importance of traditional barbing as a vital part of cultural identity. He described the traditional barber as more than a craftsman, but a custodian of heritage, a community figure, and a symbol of discipline and social structure. The lecture highlighted how modernization and Western influence are gradually eroding indigenous practices, placing traditional skills at risk of extinction. Despite these challenges, Professor Salo stressed the need to preserve and document such cultural practices, integrating them into modern society without losing their essence.
Influences the practice of traditional barbing in two forms, positively and negatively. Positively in the sense that new techniques of healthcare is adopted by the House of Barbers. And in other areas, which is positive, many people don't want the practice of traditional barbing to be performed among their families. They prefer anything modern.
This is one of the greatest occasions in any university in the whole wide world, not only in Nigeria. So my colleague only keyed in. Last year, I had the only female, the first female that ever did an inaugural lecture in Federal University, Dutama. That was the 12th inaugural lecture in this great university. Today's own is 13th inaugural lecture of my colleague, Professor Bashir Salau. Yes.
What he has actually drawn our attention is the culture is gradually running into extinction because of advent of imperial Western culture that have intruded into our civilization and by day, in fact, relegating